Morning pursuit on Highway 405 for suspect driving stolen vehicle. Authorities began a pursuit shortly after spotting a reported stolen vehicle on Friday morning, April 11, 2025. A Toyota sedan was reported missing from Huntington Beach. The pursuit began after authorities spotted the stolen vehicle on Highway 405. The suspect led California Highway Patrol officers into the shared lane on the northbound side of Highway 405 in Inglewood, as well as in the Westchester neighborhood of Los Angeles.
Hiding in that center divider area, and the guy did throw out the spike strips, and it does look like that passenger side tire is starting to get down a little bit. And if the passenger side tire is getting down, that makes you wonder about the driver as well. Now we got a little bit better look, and I'm saying no, I'm taking that all back. Maybe that spike strip did not hit it, but right now this Toyota Corolla still moving along 55 miles an hour, so slower than freeway speeds. California Highway Patrol right behind it, not giving away any secrets, but I did hear them ask them for permission to pit if they had the speeds were proper. But they said, no, you cannot pit that vehicle. So right now it is just a pursuit northbound on the 405. You can see it right there. We're in the Westchester area. But that vehicle, first time we've seen it get out of the carpool lane, it looks like it's picking up a little bit of speed.
This is too fast, actually, to do a pit, Stu, at 60 miles per hour. And you know what's interesting about this? So this is a stolen car we're hearing out of the Huntington Beach area. And here on the northbound lanes of the 405, we're talking about rush hour now as we're getting, it's now near the Howard Hughes Parkway. We get to that split where it goes to either northbound up the Sepulveda Pass or the 10 freeway. So we'll see what happens there. But when you have these CHP officers following, you know, here's what happens with rush hour traffic, and you know, it's likely this is going to impact the morning commute for folks in this area.
Well, it could impact the morning pursuit, the morning commute with this pursuit. Check that one out. If this vehicle turns into something other than what's going on right now, you can see that moving along. Almost no other cars on the freeway. He's kind of moving more and more off to the right there. So I'm wondering if they're going to take an off ramp, or maybe there's something up with the vehicle. Does seem to be slowing down a little bit once again. And Bobby, just to be clear, that officer in that California Highway Patrol vehicle didn't ask to put the vehicle at 60 miles an hour. He said if the conditions permit, meaning like if he gets off the freeway right here or if it slows down, he was asking if he could do that pit maneuver. At that time, they said no. Right now, though, look at this. He's getting off the freeway. It looks like we're getting off in the Fox Hills area. Sepulveda Boulevard slowing down even more. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the car is giving out. Maybe there's no gas in it, but that vehicle really starting to slow down. That driver looking around. Now, earlier on, they were talking about the driver doing some unusual movements in there. Maybe he did run out of gas. Maybe he thought he could just pull over here and pick up a little fuel. But he's out. His vehicle stopped. He's out of the car. Looks like he's done this before because he's getting out and getting on the ground.
Most of the pursuit occurred on the northbound side of Highway 405. At one point, officers deployed spike strips. However, the pursuit continued as the suspect continued driving with flat tires. The suspect eventually used an exit ramp off the highway. He then surrendered to authorities at the intersection of Sepulveda Avenue and Green Valley Circle in Culver City. He was taken into custody without incident. A wild chase ignited Southern California highways on Wednesday evening, April 9, 2025, and ultimately ended with at least 3 or 4 other suspects escaping from the vehicle. It is unclear when Southgate police officers began the pursuit, although the officers handed it over to California police shortly before 11 p.m. The suspects were reportedly wanted for brandishing a firearm, and initial, unconfirmed reports indicated at least 2 handguns and a rifle were inside the vehicle. When the driver entered the Horseshoe area of Los Angeles International Airport, the LAPD unsuccessfully attempted a surprise search. The suspect vehicle responded by entering the parking garage, where reports emerged that firearms may have been fired from the white SUV. When the vehicle reappeared, its rear bumper was pulled, and sparks were seen flying from the right front tire, which eventually vaporized, leaving the SUV on 3 wheels and a rim.
About a pursuit started in Southgate. The want brandishing a weapon. CHP is now in pursuit, and you see there that the car has clearly have some damage, and so now the wheels are interacting with the highway and sparks are flying everywhere. This is a pretty good high-speed pursuit in that it looks as if CHP in particular going at a high rate of speed following that car. That car is not going to be able to continue at that speed with this damage on the front of the car. Those sparks are just amazing, and you can see that the vehicle is starting to slow a bit, but they're definitely at risk here as you see the sparks going under the car and coming out behind, and the CHP making that approach, and then that pit. Car is still going forward, hasn't been affected by the pit as yet, but you see how the damage, how much damage there is on that car. This is some kind of white SUV. And again, the suspect, the driver, is accused of brandishing a weapon, and now the CHP has been in pursuit. This is an area of Compton. Now another pit, rear bumper has been taken off, but the car still manages to keep going. As we watch the car on Willowbrook and East Imperial Highway in the area of Compton, this driver cannot go for very much longer, but we continue to watch. Skyfox overhead. The CHP gets closer, keeps an eye out for an opportunity to do another pit. 2 pits so far as we watch that car clearly damaged, clearly losing control over what that car is able to do. And now it's in a sort of a zigzag kind of situation, East 115th and Croesus Avenue in Watts, slowing down.
The driver finally stopped, and the suspects fled the vehicle and fled on foot. It wasn't long before he was surrounded by California Highway Patrol officers with their weapons drawn. The suspect surrendered and was arrested. Meanwhile, law enforcement was setting up a perimeter in the area to search for the remaining suspects.
Overhead, keeping an eye on this suspect, but meantime, the other CHP officers will have to keep an eye out for down. One of the suspects, the primary suspect, we believe, is the driver, just stopped. Perhaps thought that perhaps he could get away with, I'm just here. But no, instead, he's on the ground. There's a CHP officer on top of him, cuffing him now. This is in the area of Gorman Avenue and 115th Street. So a relatively short CHP pursuit for a suspect, a driver that brandished a weapon. The guy stopped the car, ran out of the car along with 3 other people. But in this case, the driver now in custody. And it was an easy arrest. It was a peaceful arrest. But that guy will be in trouble for sure. There are various charges that are typically leveled at a suspect like that. Some of it has to do with the original want. Some of it has to do with the mere fact that the driver kept going despite the fact that law enforcement, that the CHP cars were behind, telling him to stop. Meantime, we watch as the police officers, the CHP officers in this case, are slowly going through that street there looking for other suspects.
At the intersection of Gorman Street and East 115th Street, the driver finally stopped, and the suspects fled the vehicle on foot. He was quickly surrounded by California Highway Patrol officers with their weapons drawn. The suspect surrendered and was arrested. Meanwhile, law enforcement was tightening a security cordon in the area in search of the remaining suspects.